Hello and welcome. In this video, I'm going to talk about some common mistakes that Kenyan builders do around roofing. And these are the tricky apron junctions and internal girders. And I'm going to illustrate this using a recent video that I saw on Facebook of a builder who has done a very beautiful roof. It's a very ordinary roof, gable, simple gable or monopitch roofs, but there is what I notice a big issue around how he's going to do the apron junction detailing, and he has a couple of internal girders that I think are going to be tricky to fix for him. I have an experience of having worked with a lot of Kenyan builders when I was building my house, and I know, or I saw how they planned to detail these apron junctions and internal girders, and that was alarming. And so during that time, I actually rectified that and designed a certain detail that I will share with you on how they could do it better. Now, it's deservedly so for the Kenyan builders. A lot of them are showcasing their work on social media, and they're doing a great job. And mostly to the naked eye, or to an ordinary person, some of these mistakes will not stand out, are not noticeable. It takes an experienced person to be able to spot them. And that's really the aim of my channel. And it doesn't matter whose house it is. It could be the house of a president, it could be the house of a big celebrity, or it could just be the house of an ordinary person. A construction mistake is a construction mistake. And if it's done and it's not rectified, of course, there's going to be a cost to repair it further down the line. And so that's why I started this channel, to be able to point out some of these ordinary mistakes that Kenyan builders are doing and contribute towards solving them. And if they so wish, they can adopt the details that I post on this video and use them to rectify those mistakes. This channel is really to educate ordinary people, builders, students of construction, architecture, and engineering on the basic building details for construction to better improve the Kenyan construction system. We are still using standards from 1960. It's only recently that I read somewhere that they're trying to update these standards to be in line with the European Code. But until then, I will make my effort, and I'm going to be contributing to making the construction industry in Kenya a better industry in terms of constructing simple residential housing, nothing complicated. So in this video, I'm going to highlight those mistakes on this particular construction that I saw on social media, and then later on I'll explain how the builder can rectify them. So without further ado, I will turn around the camera and then we'll watch this video, and as we watch it, I'm going to point out what he is doing and how, what I think they're going to do, and then I'll explain later how they can do it better. So let's watch this. So here the video starts.
Wacha niwaambie. Unaona ukijenga nyumba maridadi, alafu ufike hapa kwa roofing. Hapo ndo unajenga umefanya nini? Umetoboa, Check your roof. Check your structure. Check your structure.
I just point out with my mouse. I just point out with my mouse where I think there's going to be a problem. So this here, he's created a very nice water tank, and actually, before I even talk about this water tank, look at the roof framing. The roof framing is nice. This is a trussed roof. It's a gable. And the workmanship is right. Like he says in the video, if you don't understand English, he's just trying to say that his work is good, and I can agree with it. The work is actually quite good for that standard. and he's doing really well. You know, you've got the purlins there, you've got your trusses, all is lining up, etc., etc. So now, like he's saying, he's done the framing. So what is remaining is basically just roofing, but he hasn't explained what he's going to do with the roofing. There's a couple of elements that, you know, need to go to the roof before they put in the roofing material, which I believe is going to be tiles. But before that, he hasn't mentioned underlay. I think I would have to put roof underlay first. But let's leave that for a moment. I want to talk about this water tank. It's okay to construct a water tank, but as I've always said in my previous videos, whenever one of the issues here is where this timber is meeting the concrete wall or the block wall, you know, ideally you want to have some underlay, waterproofing there to prevent water coming from the concrete into the timber. You see, normally that's what is supposed to happen, but he doesn't seem to have that. But the most important thing I wanted to talk about is this apron detail here. What I am quite 100% sure they're going to do is that they've already chiseled out, or they've already chased out where the trusses are going to be, where the trusses are bumping into the wall. And what they're going to do is that whenever they put on the roof tiles, they're going to carve, right here, they're just going to carve the roof into the chest space, and then they're going to plaster over. And that's about it. So ideally no waterproofing. They may do some waterproofing using waterproof cement on the plaster, but it will just be metal against concrete and whatever. And so that is one thing I will show you how they can do better than that, than just carving the metal tiles into the concrete. Because what happens is that once you carve it into the block and then you plaster over time the plaster starts cracking, and then it peels off, and then it starts leaking. So that's a very weak point if it's not waterproofed properly. Let's keep watching.
Look at ours. Iko nje, iko exposed. Iko kwa mabati, lakini iko juu ya mabati. Hello. Hizi ni vitu mna consider ukijenga manyumba zenu ba. Take your slope. Very gentle. Very gentle. Mbao imechapwa kitu maridadi. Cheki. Ukiingia hapa hivi kama ni vile bado mko mbali, ningeonyesha kiwa base guy. Hii roof ni ile roof yenye ukiwa ndani ya nyumba ime slope iko huko juu. Same applies to
So the same issue is right here on this protruding roof, and also around this chimney. So around this chimney is going to be an issue. They're going to do the same, just carving out. All they do is carve the metal tile into the wall, and then plaster over it, and that's about it. They could do waterproofing, etc. And the same thing here. So that's the second bit that I'm going to talk about, which is same as the one that we saw below. Let's keep going.
This other side. Hii chimney nikifanya ile testing. Nifanya chimney moja yenye inatumia kuni. Chimney yenye iko functional.
Now one major thing.
Kaplasta kama mimi nishachapa plaster.
Now the other issue is, which again I'm gonna highlight, is drainage. How he's gonna drain this water. You can see this water is coming from this roof here, this bit of the roof, and it'll be falling right up to there. So the question is, how does he drain here? I haven't seen the provision of an internal gutter around here, and as well, you could argue, okay, this again, he will do a very rudimentary apron junction here, as I have explained before. But how does he get this water properly from this side into there without causing leakage? 6 months down the line when the plaster has dried, because I'm sure what they're gonna do is again cover the roof into the plaster and then plaster over it with waterproofing plaster. And then of course up top here there's a parapet wall, and in my other videos I've talked about how to properly detail a parapet wall and then drain it away. I can see there's a pipe here, so most likely there will be a slope coming from this side, and this water will be draining on top below here. So rather than just have a pipe protruding, it would have been better to have like a rainwater head, and I might have to make a video to explain how to do a rainwater head here with a downpipe spreader that will spread the water onto this roof and then down below to the external gutter. He might need to do an internal gutter here, but that remains to be seen. In this video, I just want to highlight this issue of how he's going to drain this water here without causing problems, and then this bit here and the other two bits that I've illustrated before. So let's just keep watching, and then I'll turn around the camera and we can get into some of the ways in which he can do this better.
Sasa kitu tunabakisha tu ni kuweka tu mabati. Ikiweka mabati hapa hivi ndio yote sasa. So sitakuja kuchafua. Mabati tunapiga plaster, nishapiga plaster yangu. Plaster moja
So basically, to interpret, for those who do not understand Swahili, he's saying that at this point, all the work is finished. All that is remaining is just roofing, so putting in the roof cladding. He's already done the plaster, so he doesn't need to plaster again. And that's what caught my attention in this video, is that, okay, you're gonna put on roofing, but you know, what about these drainage bits here? What about waterproofing there? What about this and that, you know? So yeah, so let's finish off this video and then we'll get into the main issues.
So hizi ni vitu unafanya. Unajua tunakaa tuna joke huku community, lakini it's very serious. We are doing a very serious job. Msistuke na upepo kidogo. So pressure board tushaweka. Plaster nishachapa. Water tank yangu iko ready, nishapiga plaster. Kitu yenye wake tu hapo ni kuja na plumber wangu. Nifanye waterproofing huko hivyo chini. Niweke niweke water tank yangu. So cheki keja. Hadi inanifurahisha.
Right, so he talks about getting his plumber to do waterproofing, and the waterproofing he's referring to is not actually for the roof, it's for the water tank. And I probably quite like this idea of having the water tank inbuilt into the roof, so long as its structure is sound. But a big question about how to waterproof it is what I'll talk about. As I said before, you have these truss timbers running into a concrete wall without any DPM or DPC between concrete and timber. So I'm gonna end this one here, and then I'm gonna turn around the camera and I'll show you how we can help such a kind of construction be better. Right, so bear with me 1 minute as I get this sorted. Cool, so I took the liberty to do 2 details that can help our friend detail his gutter better. Now this first detail is the hidden gutter sloping roof detail. I call it the hidden gutter sloping roof detail. I've tried to sort of match his roof profile. So he's got this roof here, that is coming down, and then it's bumping into this raised other part of the roof is raised, and then you have that reverse eave, the other gable roof with a reverse eave there. So let's look at what I've done here and what he can do to improve that. So in my earlier videos, I've detailed what we call an internal gutter before. And so in this case, if you check my earlier videos on a celebrity's house that I pointed out how to do an internal gutter. This is one internal gutter with a parapet wall and a hidden, sloping roof. So what he can do again is build out using ply, an internal gutter 300-meter wide. All he has to do is run 6x2s along that wall, and then another one on the side of the trusses, and this should be fully supported. And then he can build them like that. So that is your 21-millimeter ply. He will need those 20-millimeter fillets. And then this blue line just indicates your stainless steel gutter. Like I said, he can get this one prefabricated along Jogoo Road in Landis, or Landis Road in Nairobi. And then it can be custom made, and then he just comes and fixes it out. So the depth of that can be 70 minimum with 20 millimeter freeboard there. And then here he can chase out part of the motor and then just bend it over and fix that in. And then he has to waterproof. I mean, there's different he can plaster this with waterproofing cement. So I'm calling it apply proprietary waterproofing membrane to block work before plaster. So before he had plastered, it's sad that he's already plastered, but I'm hoping he had waterproofed before plastering, or he had applied waterproof plaster. And then, so you do that. So apply a proprietary waterproofing membrane, and then you plaster over and into the chasing where the gutter is in. And then this one here is a sealant. So this is a proper sealant. I'm calling it a paintable sealant, so that the issue is that if there is any water by chance, if say there is driving rain that is falling this way, so if you have any driving rain that might be falling this way, then of course that sealant prevents entry into that, but all the rain now will just come into the gutter there. And then his roof, those tiles, he will need to extend his roof 50 mil into the gutter, and you can see how the gutter is behaving, goes back up and then falls back out again, right? So this is a gutter that he can apply. And then on top of one important thing, on top of that, at the reversed eave where that roof overhang is, so let me see if I got it. So right there, somewhere here, I think. So right here, rather than going flat there, I would have gone straight with the reverse eave, but it's not an issue anyway. I mean, he can still put some flashing there. If he had gone straight, I would have he would have waterproofed it like that with a diverter flashing like that. So we'll have a little diverter flashing there, just to make sure that there's no water going back into the eaves if there's some sort of driving rain. The other thing he needed to do is whenever, like I said, there is a contact between timber and concrete or block, you need DPC. In this video, I'm not sure there's any DPC. If you look there, I don't think there's DPC. If you look there, there's not DPC. So those are things that he can rectify. Otherwise, the timber will, once water starts getting through the concrete and into the timber, will begin rotting. So the detail that I've shown you is a detail that he can apply here. That gutter, he can apply it here. 300 millimeter wide gutter over here. He can create this detail. I'll show you. Actually, let's put it here. So this gutter, with a sloping roof, that's your sloping roof, and then that is the gutter. So that is the sloping roof there. This one over here. And then he can create that gutter right over here. Right? So this he shouldn't have probably plastered first before creating a gutter, but since he had, I think there's still room to do that. He can actually rectify this even with the plastering done. Get a gutter there, 300 millimeter wide gutter, construct that as per this detail, and he should be able to drain that water properly. Now you're wondering, okay, how is he going to drain that water? How is that going to work? You might be wondering, how is that going to work once he creates that gutter there? So the solution there is that once we create a gutter here, these are internal gutter, hidden internal gutter, and then we'll create another hidden gutter, sloping gutter here, and I'm going to show you the detail for that, so that this gutter will come at a slope of 1 in 10. So this will be the high point, and then it will slope this way, and then it will drain into another hidden gutter over here that I'm going to show you the detail. And that hidden gutter, it's this one here that I've created for him. So again, when we look at this one, that is your block wall, and then he creates, this one could be slightly smaller, not 300 but maybe 200 wide, because it's sloping down that way. It's easier for that other gutter to drain into, to pour into this, and then the rest of the water goes down that way into an external eaves gutter on the other side. So this one, same principle really applies. Create a plywood base using 6x2s as bases, and then you have to fully support it so that it's workable. And then you got another plywood member there, and then that is your 50x35 tile batten, which you can use, and then you have to have your flashing over the batten coming in there over the metal gutter. And then the same principle there, you chase in a little bit, fold the gutter inside, have your paintable sealant there, already applied waterproof on the side of the masonry block, and then you apply your plaster. And again, the principle here is that, water falling on the plaster just falls directly into the gutter and is drained down that way. And then of course that is your the rest is your your normal roof structure, as it were, whatever. So elements, 21 millimeter plywood base, that's how to construct it. Internal metal gutter of a plywood support, select plaster finish, appropriate waterproofing, and right there he will have sorted that problem easy peasy. he will have sorted himself right there easily without many problems. So he will have a 300 wide, or even 300 wide internal gutter running this way, and then 200 millimeter wide or 300 meter wide hidden gutter sloping down that way. This one drains into that one drains down there into an external gutter somewhere there, or another internal gutter or whatever. In terms of waterproofing and detailing, I've shown you guys how that can be done, and hopefully we can help this guy to make this his construction better and make the clients happy, right? So guys, that is basically the video for today, how to help Kenyan builders detail the internal and internal gutters well, and apron junction detailing properly for waterproofing, so that they can correct these construction mistakes and help in improving the construction industry. There's a couple of other issues with this video, with this construction. Like I said, something like this, for instance, a parapet. I'm not sure how they're going to detail that. I'm not sure. They don't have any. He can create a slope. I'm sure that, like I said, there's a pipe here. He can create a slope. I mean, there's a pipe here that I'm sure he's created a slope here. The water will drain and then fall onto the roof, but that's very rudimentary. It's a better way to drain that. And I'll probably make a video just to illustrate how to properly do a roof membrane, a flat roof membrane, in the next video, and then share it with you guys. So thank you for watching, and if you love this kind of content, please subscribe below, share and like. Until next video, goodbye.